Welcome to Hindi reading class number 3. If you've been keeping up with them, thank you very much. Today we're going to learn ha, va, re, and also some uh, vowel shorthands that we talked about previously, also known as matras. All right, so let's get started. So first, we're going to do some listening practice. Same as we did last week. I'm going to say the letter, and you guess if it's number 1 or number 2. Eh, that was 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 number 2. A, that was number 1. Eh, that was number 2. A, that was number 1. Eh, that was number 2. A, that was number 1. Eh, that was number 2. Eh, that was number 2. A, that was number 1. A, that was number 1. Eh, that was number 2. All right, so now let's distinguish these three because it's easy to confuse them. So we have to get the sound into our brain. So I'm going to say a sound, and you guess if it's 1, 2, or 3. That was number 3. Oh, that was number 2. Ah, that was number 3. Ah, that was number 1. Oh, that was number 2. Ah, that was number 1. Oh, that was number 3. Ah, that was number 1. Ah, that was number 1. Ah, that was number 1. Oh, that was number 3. Oh, that was number 2. Oh, that was number 3. Oh, that was number 2. Ah, that was number 1. Oh, that was number 3. Ah, that was number 1. Oh, that was number 3. Oh, that was number 2. Very good. So here's what we're going to learn today. Highlighted in red, not very much, but we have a much more important subject to cover today. So we're going to do a little vowel review since we know most of the vowels. So starting from the top row on the far left, a, I, E, U, U, E, A, O, A. Very good. So here's a new consonant that we are going to learn this week. And this sounds like the English consonant H, the letter H, except with after it. So this is pronounced ha, 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 ha. Very good. Ha. Very good. Ha. All right. So in other times though, it's pronounced kind of like a soft exhalation, like a sigh, like you're sighing. Right? So it's sighing at will is basically what it is. Notice it's not a right? So we didn't do any funny stuff with our throat. That's a completely different sound. This is just pure air coming out of our throat. And this happens mostly at the end of words or at the end of syllables. I'm sorry for my bad breath, but we'll move on in a few minutes. So the first word here, we don't really know how to say this yet. We're going to learn how to do this today, but this is ra. Do you hear the at the end? Ra, ra. Hopefully it comes out in the audio. Ra. Next is ah, ah. Third is an exceptional pronunciation, but it is pronounced se, se. So you heard the at the end, re, re, re. And then the last one, this is also an exception we'll learn some time from now, but it's two syllables. So the first one, the first syllable ends with, it is re, na, re, na, re, na, hena, hena, right? So it's pronounced like a sigh in these situations. End of a syllable, end of a word. So here's the second consonant we're going to cover today, and we have a question mark here. I want you to listen to it and tell me what you think. Va, 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 va. All right, now was that a V sound or a W sound? Hmm, strange. Well, in reality, it's kind of a V sound, kind of a W sound, and at the same time, it is none of the above. How can we say that? Well, it doesn't sound like an English V sound, and it doesn't sound like a WV sound exactly, but yet at the same time, it sounds like both, but it's not pronounced like either. Eh? Okay, so we're going to explain this. In English, we make the V sound by biting our lip. Notice when you make a pronounce anything with a V. Van. Your teeth are biting down in the middle of your lip. And in English, this is how we make the W sound by puckering up like we're about to kiss somebody. So woo, woo. Notice how far out your lips are there. Woo, woo. All right. So that's how we do the English W. But here's how we do the Hindi V sound. Notice that the teeth aren't biting down on top of the lip. It's not biting in the middle of the lip. And even more interesting, the lips aren't puckering up like they're going to kiss someone, like it's some kind of PG-13 movie. No, this is how we do the Hindi V sound. So if you notice that the top front teeth vibrate a little bit against the back of the bottom lip. And that is what creates the sound. Now, sometimes it sounds more like a V to an English speaker, and sometimes it sounds more like a W to an English speaker. Well, and what determines this is the surrounding vowel. So if the next vowel is one such that it takes away from the contact with your teeth, it'll sound more like a V. And if the surrounding vowels are such that it makes the teeth touch the lip, then it'll sound more like a V. If it makes the lips draw away from the teeth, it'll sound more like a W. So for instance, va, va, wo, vi, vi, wo, 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 right? So in some cases you can hear it more a V-ish type sound more distinctly than others, depending on if the teeth are touching the lips. But this is how the sound is made. So you can imitate that. So you don't have to get into any arguments about is this a V, is this a W? One thing it is not both a V and a W. So I don't want you to get the idea that this is wa. No. So this is sound is made exactly how you see it here, with the back of the front teeth touching with the front teeth touching the back of the bottom lip. So you can practice that in a mirror, and you should be able to do it quite easily. Well, the Indian V and the W sound. So now we're going to talk about a very important topic. And we said we're going to discuss the shorthand forms of vowels when they come directly after consonants. And these are called matra. So how do we turn this, which sounds like which is sa, into sa? How do we do that? Can we do this? So we can't do this. And why? Because forgetting someone. Yes, Mr. Himself is here. So this is actually sa'a. Sa'a. We can't get rid of that easily because this is a vowel in its full form. It doesn't get rid of So we have to pronounce sa'a. So what's the solution? We need a different way. And that way is matrai. Yes, matrai. Eh? It's very simple. It's a shorthand way of writing vowels, but only when it comes right after another consonant. It's the shorthand that gets rid of the that is by default always there if nothing else is there. So we're getting it out of the way by writing a shorthand form of the vowel. Okay. So the problem for an English speaker is that these things are small. They look similar, and so you're gonna have to be extra careful when you read. It's not like a A and a O and a I and a U. They look completely different. Except this, they're gonna be like one line here, two lines there, here a line, there a line, a curve, everywhere a line. Okay, so here's the first one, and we said that this is the vowel ah. Like when you go to the doctor, but as a child, and they say ah. Say ah. You know what we have here? We have a flashlight. A flashlight sticking down from the top vertical line. That is the matra for ah. And if you look in the top right hand corner, you'll see some examples of that matra being used after a consonant. Consonants we have not yet learned. And there's good reason for that. And so here's another way. It's a Coke bottle. Remember, like we said, Coca-Cola tastes so much like bitter, weird medicine with a nasty aftertaste and sugar. But uh, remember, it looks like a Coca-Cola bottle. One bottle straight down from the top line right after the consonant. The consonant goes where the circle is in front of your face. So here's how we make sa. See? Shorthand the matra, straight down from the top line. So now it's no longer sa'a. We've got rid of We've kicked Akshay Kumar, the ugly duckling, to the curb, and now we have Sa. Salman Khan. Okay, no, that's a bad joke. All right, so here are some examples. Number one, Sa. Number two, Ga. Number three, Ra. Number four, Ma. Number five, Na. Number six, Sha. Number seven, La. Number eight, Ya. Number nine, Ha. How great. Now here is I. And we said it sounded kind of like when you spit. on people. Spit, except it's more the Indian version. I spit on you. So we have this man here spitting on the consonant. This consonant goes where the circle is. Now, do you notice something really weird and perplexing? The man in the background is thinking, this is quite strange. Because the I matra actually is coming before the consonant. What kind of foolishness is this? Well, whoever came up with it, they came up with it for good reason. And when they get resurrected, we can ask them, why did you do this? But this is the only matra that comes before the consonant. However, we pronounce it after. So look at the top right. You see some examples using consonants we have not yet learned. Now here is how we say si. Notice the I matra is spitting on top of the S sound. Si. But the I is actually pronounced after the S sound. Si. It's, ooh, eh, yes, confusing. But it's doable. You get used to it. It's a little bit strange at first, but it becomes habitual. Some examples. Number one, si. Number two, gi. Number three, ri. Number four, mi. Number five, ni. Number six, shi. Number seven, li. Number eight, ye. Number nine, he. Very good. Here's the next vowel. And we said it sounds kind of like the E, a little bit more flat, like E in eel. Eel, right? Now you notice it's a vertical line coming down from the top line, but then the eel comes up and above and loops down and attaches itself to the consonant. Oh, nasty creature. All Jehovah's creatures are amazing. If you like sushi, okay, we're not going to talk about that. Okay, so eel. Notice in the top right-hand corner, we have some examples. Okay, so this is how we say see. Notice the eel is coming straight up out of its layer, coming over and above the top line and attaching itself to the S. I'm sure the S is very uncomfortable, but see, eel, see. Here's some examples. Number one, see. Number two, gi. Number three, ri. Number four, mi. Number five, ni. Number six, she. Number seven, li. Number eight, ye. And number nine, he. Very good. Here's our next sound. Ooh. And we said it sounds like puss in boots. A little bit more sharper and violent like a monkey sound. Ooh. Puss, right? And notice at the top, we have some examples. It actually is underneath because it's a little cat curled up, taking a nap. It's a little puss, not a cat. Puss in boots. So its tail is going up and over on the left-hand side, and its head is little curled up like a little cute bundle of evil cat. So here is the consonant that corresponds with English S, and we've gotten rid of a. Instead, we have the matra for u. So this is su. Very good, su. So here are some examples. Number one, su. Number two, gu. Number three, mu. Number four, hu. Number five, nu. Number six, shu. Number seven, lu. Number eight, yu. Okay, so where's number 9? Here's number 9. When combined with the Hindi R sound, it takes a completely different shape. Notice it juts out from the middle of the R like a little half semicircle at an angle. And so this is a special form only when combined with Hindi R sound. So this is puss with a rapier. Rapier. Okay. Ru. That's how it sounds. Ru. 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 Here is the next sound. We said it sounded like the ooh, kind of. Remember, it's longer, fatter, with no at the end. Shoe. So it sounds like the ooh in shoe. So if you notice, it too is underneath because shoes go on your feet. They have to come underneath. I mean, come on. And you notice the heel portion is comes to the left and it comes up and over the top of the shoe all the way to the front of the shoe. It goes right underneath the consonant, which is where the circle would be. Look to the top right, you'll see some examples. And so this is how we say sue. Please don't sue me for, anyway, bad jokes. So sue. And now we're gonna go through, notice how it's differs from oo. How does it differ from oo? Well, oo, we had the little cat's head to the right side curled underneath and the tail coming up to the left. Now here we have the heel of the shoe to the left, going up and over the top of the shoe, going down, right, facing forward. And so if it faces forward, it must be longer. Ooh, that's how we keep them separate. Ooh, so this is Sue. So here's some examples. Number 1, Sue. Number 2, Goo. Number 3, Moo. Number 4, Who. Number 5, New. Number 6, Shoe. Number 7, Loo. Number 8, You. No, me. Okay, so this is another special form, and this time a drug dealer has thrown shoes on top of the electrical Hindi line. We have to clean up the streets of Mumbai. So this is only after the Hindi R sound. So now it becomes the same curve to the right, still the heel and the toe and everything, but this time it's hanging off the top line. It doesn't touch underneath. It's not on the ground. And so this is how you say ru, 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 ru. Very good. Here we have another vowel, a, right? And we said it kind of sounded like the a in whale, right? Except with get rid of the a at the end, and we just have it's very sharp and flat. Whale, whale. Can you say it like that? Whale, not whale, but whale. So this is a, and if you notice, it's a gigantic humpback whale jumping over the consonant. Show off. Jumping out of the sea of the Hindi top line and over ballet style, and the consonant goes underneath. So this is how we say. Notice it's a little small line at the top. This is where things get confusing. Be very careful. One line is the whale shooting up over and above the top line. Sorry, not whale. Whale. Shooting up and over and above the top line. So we've gotten rid of and this is say. So now here's similar examples. Number 1, say. Number 2, ye. Number 3, re. Number 4, me. Number 5, ne. Number 6, she. Number 7, lay. Number 8, yay. Don't be so excited. What number was I on? Number 8 is yay. And number 9 is hey. 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 Hi. Here is our next vowel. And remember what we said? Kind of like a closed, half closed mouth in the American English pronunciation of cat. So close your mouth halfway. Ah, ah, right? Ah. And strangely enough, we didn't get rid of that side. This is the real side. Oh, yes. It also sounds like I. Why? Because the cat is eyeing the goldfish to eat it. So where the cat's face is where the consonant goes. The cat's ears come above the top line of Hindi. And the cat is eyeing a goldfish. So this is pronounced either a, which is the A in cat, with the mouth half closed. Notice his mouth is closed. And I. It can be pronounced either way. A, I. Remember, how is this different from the last one? This one has 2 lines above so see, it's getting crazy already. 1 line is the ballerina whale, and then 2 lines is the cat. Ah, got it? Great. So this is how we say sa, sa. Can you see the cat and his ears and its head and just staring away? Sa. So we got rid of Why? Because we added the vowel shorthand, the matra, for a. Here's some examples. Number 1, sa. Number 2, ga. Number 3, ra. Number 4, ma. Number 5, na. Number 6, sha. Number 7, la. Number 8, yeah. And number 9, ha. Next vowel. Remember we said, see, we wondered why we picked these really strange examples, didn't you? This, we said it sounds kind of like the O in apple core. Not quite like We got rid of that stuff at the end. And we have a more a little bit higher, flatter sound. So core, apple core. And if you notice, it is a straight line down where the apple would be, and a looping curve over the top of the line. Some people write this with a little curve at the end of the top line. All right, so it's a straight apple core, and the stem loops over. So how is this different from A in whale? Okay, so the A in whale, right? I mean, it's different several ways, but the A in whale would only have 1 line coming directly above the consonant. But if you see here, this line is actually coming up from the apple core. It's a stem. So we have a vertical line down, like the Coca-Cola bottle. Oh, it's getting crazy. But we have a stem coming out, so it makes it core, right? So it's the vertical line, and then the little curved line on top with a loop at the end makes this O, and it comes to the right of the consonant. So notice the apple core and then the stem coming up. They're all connected. It's one symbol, and that is the shorthand for O. So this is pronounced so, because we got rid of a. Now we have a matra there. So it's so. Let's look at some examples. So, Number 2, go. Number 3, ro. Number 4, mo. Number 5, no. Yes. Number 6, show. Number 7, low. Number 8, yo. Number 9, ho. Very good. Getting close to the end of all the vowels we've learned so far. So this, remember we said that this sounds like aw, it can in dog, right? Dog, aw, aw. But it can also sound like the ow in owl, right? Ow. So here we have the strangest one of all. So we have the vertical line down, looks like Coca-Cola, and it looks like O. But what happens now? We have a little owl on top with his wing. The owl curved over. So we have a dog with an owl sitting on top. And this is aw. So let's keep it distinct from ah, which is just one vertical line down. Let's keep it distinct from o, which is just one vertical line and one line on curved line on the top. This is aw. It has two curved lines on the top, a vertical line down coming from the top line. And how do we distinguish it from eh? Do you know? We distinguish it because eh has no vertical line because it's a cat head with two ears sticking up looking at a goldfish. Easy, right? Right, so we can keep these straight in our mind. Look to the top right, you'll see some interesting examples. And so now we're going to move. Oh, let's. How do you pronounce the second one on the top? So the first is haw, haw. And then the second, we have the whale jumping up above the L sound. So this is lay, holly, 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 holly. Very good. So this is how we would write saw. We have the dog, vertical line, with the owl on top, two curved little lines. How can you not love owl dog? Ah, ow. Wonderful. So this is saw. Examples. Number 1, saw. Number 2, gaw. Number 3, raw. Number 4, maw. Number 5, gnaw. Number 6, shaw. Number 8, law. Number 9, yaw. Number 10, haw. And just so Mr. Owl doesn't think I'm being prejudiced and I'm giving equal preference preference in the workplace, equal equality in the workplace, we're going to pronounce it the other way too. So number 1, sow. Number 2, gao. Number 3, rao. Number 4, mao. Number 5, now. Number 6, shao. Number 7, lao. Number 8, yao. Ming. Number 9, how do you do? You know, this is a new vowel. You haven't learned it before, and it looks like somebody tied up all their rope in the garage and threw it in a corner. What does this look like? I really can't tell you, but how you draw it is on the bottom. And this is has an interesting pronunciation because this is supposed to be a vowel, right? What do we say about vowels? Your tongue doesn't interfere. Well, unfortunately for this, your tongue interferes. This actually doesn't sound like a vowel at all. So in northern India, ooh, look at northern India. This is pronounced re. Ubiquitously throughout northern India, this is pronounced like the Hindi R followed by E matra. Re, re, re. But this is a very controversial sound. Why? Because in the South and in Gujarat, they will pronounce this Ru. Even when they speak Hindi, they will pronounce this Ru. Because this is a Sanskrit symbol. It's only found in Sanskrit words. And so in the north they say Ri, in the south they say Ru. So who's right? I Yeah, who's right? So no one's right. This is an actual historical consonant. And in ancient times, this was sounded more like a English sound, right? So this actually sounded like neither. But because in historically in the Devanagari and other scripts, this was this was treated like a vowel, even though now we don't pronounce it like a vowel, it's still classified as a vowel. So it's the non-vowel. It's the vowel which is not a vowel. And here is its symbol. It looks like what's a Spanish rib? Well, it's a rib, but with a Spanish R and an E. Rib, rib. Here we go, underneath. And I will be using the North Indian pronunciation. Now, if all your friends are Gujarati, or all your friends are Malayali, or all your friends are, pronounce it how you want, but I'm going to say Ri. So, this is Ri. It looks like a little rib underneath. Why is it underneath? Because it's under the ground. You have to throw away bones, bury the bone. It's a rib. It's a poor little Spanish guy. They took out his rib, and so it's Ri. Got that? It's a little loop right underneath the consonant. Now notice it doesn't look like oo and it doesn't look like oo. See, that was a lopsided loop. This is more like a U-ish type thing. It's very evenly shaped. It's like a U, not like a weird curve. And this is rib, rib, rib. And so here we have it under. Now, this might become a challenge because now we have to say Spanish R, Hindi R, followed by E, but then directly in front of it, we have a consonant. So if you haven't mastered the Spanish R yet, I suggest that you stop here, go in the mirror and say butter a lot of times until it sounds like a Spanish R. Butter, 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 butter. Right? So this is Sri. Got that? It's the S directly followed by Ri. Sri. Sri. Right? Okay, so now we're going to have some examples. We've omitted some of the consonants because some of them are pretty much not really pronounced with this. But so we have some interesting ones here. Sri, number 1. Number 2, Gri. Number 3, Bri. Number 4, Dri. Number 5, Shri. And number 6, Kri. Now, if you want to pronounce it like Gru, now is when you can do that. Okay, and last but not least, what did we say about Mr. Ugly Duckling, Mr. Akshay Kumar? That when no one else is there, he's there. Makes you want to cry. He's so lonely and abused. So in the top right, we see no matra is there, and so we have ga followed by what has to be a full vowel form. Why? Because remember, if it comes directly after a consonant, it's the matra form. If it any other time, it has to be the full form. So this is gai. Same with the second. There is no matra after va, which is the Hindi W/R, none of the above sound, followed by he, vahi, vahi, right? Because there's no matra there, so it has to be a. Keep that in mind. Mr. Ugly Duckling. One of the most Ironically, one of the most important sounds in the script. And so here we have the full table. You may want to do a screen capture, download the slides, print this out. You can see side by side all the different matras. Ah, u, two different forms. Ri, I, spitting on per people. U and ru. Then we have A, the whale, gigantic whale. We have E in il. Then O in core, O and ow in dog, owl, awesome. And then I in cat, I, right? So take a look, compare so that you don't get them mixed up. Because if there's one thing in Hindi you don't want to do, the most important thing is to get your vowels correct. If you change the vowels on words, then the words either don't make sense or can mean something completely different. So try to distinguish these in your brain. That's why I added pictures. It's easier to remember with the pictures than it is just by straight memorization. Okay, so when do we use these guys? Remember, we already talked about this. You should know the answer. When do we use these guys? These guys are not discarded just because we know matraing for them. So when do we use them? All right. At the beginning of words, like we said before, but why? Because there's no consonant in front of them. So here's some examples. Notice at the beginning of words, we have to use the full vowel form. No matra goes in the beginning of a word. Only after a consonant. And if it comes after another vowel. Why? Because matras are only for vowels that come directly after consonants. It's just how the Devanagari script is made. Okay. So notice here in the first one, comes after the matra for u. Second one, a comes after the matra for u. So because it comes after another vowel, we have to use the full form. Third comes after the matra for u. Fourth comes after the vowel a. So we have to use the full form. There's no consonant there. And the fifth one, it comes after the matra for Coca-Cola bug. Ah, right? So, and then the last, it comes after the vowel ah. So we have to use the full form. So here's your homework. Practice the sounds that we did today. Well, we didn't really do any vowel sounds. We did consonants. We did re. That was the only new vowel. So practice pronouncing them until you think you have them sounding good. Write each of them 100 times and say it each time you write it. Say the sound out loud so you can memorize the sound. And then keep listening to Hindi, one of the most important steps. Because if you don't listen to it, you're going to sound strange. And then make up as many English words as you can, knowing the letters you already know. You did this last week, but last week what you didn't know is the matras. So now, after all these uh, uh, consonants we have, you can now use the matras. So your choice for the words you can create is much vaster now because after all your consonants, you don't have to say Now you can say I. Now you can say ah. Now you can say e. Now you can say su. Now you can say u, e, o, and re. Right? You can do that because after a consonant, we know the matra. Pat yourself on the back. And once you memorize this, you will be halfway to learning great Hindi reading. Take care and signing out.